Hi, this is Greg Johnson with Blue Book Services, and this is Week in Review. Pamela is coming to us from, that does not look like Austin, Texas.
No, I'm freezing my buns off in Overy, France right now at the Christmas market behind me. I'm on vacation, but I have a poor work-life balance and I still work on the weekends and on vacation. But the other thing I'm doing here is also store checking. So look forward to that because I have a lot of fun ones to see.
Well, what's the best thing you've seen produce related on your trip so far?
Okay, so I totally didn't expect this, but my friend that I'm visiting here lives in Bavaria, and we drove here to France to go to some Christmas markets because they're open. And I drove through a lot of apple country, especially in Germany, right across the border from Switzerland. And I'm looking at these apples and I'm like, those don't look like just plain old whatever apple. And we got to the packing house and I looked up the company and it turns out that they are a packer for Envy and Jazz. And so when we went by a few trees that still had some dead fruit on them, I'm sure that those were Envy apples. It was that bright red apple and then a couple of the other ones that had the bicolor like a Jazz does. So that was really interesting. It proves that you cannot get away from produce no matter where you go.
No doubt. Well, you can't get away from retail news. And one of our biggest stories this week was Iowa-based Hy-Vee announcing in a company internal message that was leaked to the Des Moines Register, and we used that as the basis of our story. They will be expanding beyond their 8 Midwestern states into Tennessee. They're going to build a distribution center in the Nashville area, which would be the first one outside of Iowa, and then put stores in the big cities in Tennessee, Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, and put stores in Alabama, Louisville, Kentucky, and Indianapolis. So that to me is a big sign that they are ready to take on some of the biggest players in those areas.
Well, and that is huge news because what other retailer is also going into Tennessee? And that's Publix, and they're also very strong there for Kroger as well. So Hy-Vee gonna go duke it out with the big boys on some border battle states there. I mean, that would be like, for me, the equivalent of H-E-B going into Louisiana and carving out some turf in there. And, one of these really strong regional players making a play for another state, once they put a DC in, it's only a matter of time before the rest of the players in that market have to really watch out. So really exciting news from Hy-Vee. And Hy-Vee is such a strong Midwestern player and they're such a strong retailer. They're one of the big ones when you talk about big regional players like Hy-Vee, Wegmans, Publix, H-E-B, those guys. That is huge news. And I'm sure the retailers in those markets are not thrilled about it.
Oh, and from a produce perspective, they are very well known for having high quality produce. We have one in Kansas City, and well, we have a lot in Kansas City. One's near me, and I know when I go there, I'm getting the highest quality produce. I know all the brands. It's always good. Well, the only other bit of news that is a little bit interesting is the latest TEFAP produce box contracts got announced just today. So we'll have that up on our website. There were 23 companies that got contracts. The contract, basically the first half of 2020, is for just about $15 million and just over 2 million boxes. So that list came out. It's bigger than the last contract. It's bigger than the one before that. Of course, it's still way smaller than the 2020 food and produce box, which was in the multi-billions. We're still talking 15 million, but a lot of companies are involved. So that'll be a good list to check out. And we will do our best to try to contact some of the companies that are doing that and see what their experience is.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to go back to my vacation now. So everyone have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, but I'll probably see you next week anyway. And that's it for the Produce Reporter Weekend Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter twice a day, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up. All right, we good?
All right, back to dinner for you.